There are two worlds. There is the world of the wealthy, the safe, the people who work in glass office buildings and sleep with their doors unlocked. And then there is your world. You don't come from money. You come from the rugged, forgotten mountains of the Balkans, where loyalty is written in blood and respect is the only currency that actually matters. The Albanian Mafia doesn't operate like a loose street gang. It is an ancient, highly disciplined brotherhood built on Besa, the unbreakable promise, and the Kanun, a centuries-old code of blood and honor. You don't just join a syndicate, you are born into a bloodline. This is what it takes to rise from absolute nothing to the untouchable king of Europe's underworld. This is what it costs you, and how the ancient laws you used to build your empire eventually become the exact things that destroy it. Level 1. The ghost, Amazi. Nobody asked you what you wanted to be when you grew up. The choice made itself. You are 16 years old, and you just spent 4 agonizing days suffocating in the pitch black, freezing trailer of a commercial lorry crossing the border into the United Kingdom. You owe the smugglers 25,000 euros for the journey. When the metal doors finally swing open in a dark industrial park outside London, you aren't free. You are owned. Your first job is at a hand car wash on a busy intersection. You are a ghost. You don't speak the language, you have absolutely no papers, and you don't exist in any official system. You work 14 hours a day in the freezing rain, your hands cracked and bleeding from the harsh chemicals. You sleep on a filthy mattress inside a damp shipping container behind the lot with 6 other boys who owe the exact same debt. You make absolutely no money. Every single penny you earn goes straight to the older men in the heavy winter coats who watch you from their parked Mercedes-Benz SUVs. One afternoon, immigration enforcement raids the car wash. The officers scream in English, pinning you to the wet concrete. They take you to a holding center and offer you a deal. Tell them who runs the operation, and they will help you stay. But you remember the rule from back home. Besa, you keep your mouth completely shut. You look the investigator in the eye and pretend you don't understand a single word. They deport you, but the organization brings you right back on another truck 3 weeks later. When you return, the older men pull you aside. You passed the test. You aren't washing cars anymore. Level 2. The runner, Kembeseri. You are 18 now. Your debt is cleared. You are given a burner phone, an electric scooter, and a fake Italian ID. You are a runner. The Albanian syndicates have completely taken over the cocaine market in London by treating it like a fast food delivery service. You don't stand on shady street corners. You provide a premium, 24/7 delivery service directly to the client's door. Your phone buzzes relentlessly with postcodes. You carry highly pure, flake, cocaine wrapped tightly in lottery tickets or plastic wrap. You ride through the freezing rain, making drops in the wealthiest neighborhoods of the city. You deliver to investment bankers in Mayfair, high-end lawyers in Soho, and university kids in Chelsea. They look right through you, handing you thick wads of cash without a second thought. They have absolutely no idea about the violence that brought that little white package to their hands, and you don't care. You make £300 a shift. You are making more money in a week than your parents made in a year back in Shkodër. You buy designer tracksuits. You send thick envelopes of cash back home to your mother, telling her you are working in a logistics warehouse. She desperately wants to believe you. But every single time you see a police car, your stomach drops into your shoes. Every time a client is drunk and belligerent, you have to clench your jaw and walk away. You are making money, but you are at the absolute bottom of the food chain, entirely disposable. If you get caught, you do the time in silence. Level 3. The muscle, Ushdari. You are 21. You spend your mornings in the gym lifting heavy weights, and your nights on the street. You are big, you are ruthless, and you have proven you are not afraid of physical confrontation. You are promoted to an Ushdari, a soldier. Your job is no longer delivering the product, your job is protecting the network. A local London street gang thinks they can muscle in on your territory. They jump one of your young scooter runners, beat him, and steal his product. You don't call the police, and you absolutely do not negotiate. In your world, weakness is a terminal disease. You and 3 other Ushdari find the rival gang members sitting in a pub. You don't bring guns, guns attract the armed police and helicopters. You bring heavy metal batons and hunting knives. You walk into the pub in broad daylight. You don't shout or make a scene. You walk straight up to the leader, and you shatter his jaw with a single, vicious swing of the baton. When his friends try to jump up, your crew pulls their knives. You look them in the eyes with a cold, dead stare that says you have absolutely nothing to lose. You tell them that if they ever touch an Albanian runner again, You will find out where their mothers live. They freeze. Fear completely maintains itself. You walk out before the sirens even start in the distance. The word spreads across the city. The Albanians do not play games. You are respected. You are feared, but you realize you are just a blunt instrument for the men above you. Level 4. The Stash House Manager, Kujdestari. You are 26. You've survived the streets, and you have proven you have a brain. You are pulled off the front line and given control of logistics. You manage the stash houses. You rent unassuming, middle-class apartments under fake corporate names. Inside, the apartments are stripped bare. This is where the wholesale bricks of cocaine arrive. You sit at a table wearing a dust mask and gloves, breaking down the pure kilos. You cut it with benzocaine to maximize the profit, and you use a heavy hydraulic press to reform it into blocks. You manage a team of 15 young runners who do the exact same job you used to do. You handle the phones, taking orders and dispatching the scooters. You are making £20,000 a month. You wear a Rolex. You drive a Range Rover. You date a beautiful woman who knows better than to ask why you have 3 different phones or why you leave the house at 3 a.m., but the paranoia is eating you alive from the inside. You know that one mistake, one runner who talks to the police, or one rival crew that finds your stash house, and your entire life is over. You sleep with a loaded pistol under your mattress. You wake up in a cold sweat every time a heavy truck drives past your window, thinking it's the police battering ram coming through your door. You have money, but you have absolutely zero peace. Level 5. The Port Fixer, Endemget. You are 32. London is too small for you now. The real money isn't in street-level distribution. The real money is in the gateway to Europe. You move to Antwerp, Belgium. The massive shipping ports here handle millions of containers a year, and it is the absolute choke point for South American cocaine entering the European market. You are a transnational broker. You deal directly with the Colombian and Mexican cartels. They respect you because the Albanian Mafia buys in massive bulk, pays entirely in cash, and never asks questions. Your job is extraction. A shipping container filled with Ecuadorian bananas arrives at the port, with 3 tons of cocaine hidden in the walls. You use your massive wealth to corrupt the system. You pay a port crane operator €100,000 to move that specific container into a blind spot where the security cameras don't reach. You pay customs officials to look the other way. You send in a heavily armed extraction team in the dead of night to cut the container open and remove the duffel bags of product. It is a high-stakes, multi-million euro game of chess against Europol and rival Moroccan syndicates. Sometimes, a ton of product gets seized by the police. You don't panic, you just factor the loss into the cost of doing business. You are moving oceans of product, and the wealth you are generating is staggering. Level 6. The Financial Architect, Pastruci. You are 38. The organization is drowning in cash. Tens of millions of euros are sitting in duffel bags in safe houses across Europe, entirely useless if it can't be spent legally. You are no longer dealing with drugs, you are dealing with economics. You are the washer. Your product is spreadsheets, shell companies, and real estate. You operate out of a glass-walled office in Tirana. You set up a labyrinth of corporate entities in Cyprus, Dubai, and the British Virgin Islands. You take the dirty money from London and Antwerp and run it through the Hawala system, an underground, trust-based transfer network that leaves absolutely no paper trail. You use the clean money to buy massive plots of land in Albania. You fund the construction of towering luxury hotels on the Albanian Riviera and massive apartment complexes in the capital. To the outside world, you are a brilliant, highly successful real estate developer. You wear bespoke Italian suits. You dine with members of parliament, police chiefs, and local judges. You fund their political campaigns, and in return, they ensure your construction permits are approved instantly and your background is never checked. You have completely merged the criminal underworld with the legitimate state. But you know that you are sitting on a house of cards. If an international task force freezes your offshore accounts, the entire cartel collapses, and the bosses will blame you. You are the most valuable man in the organization, which means you are also the biggest liability. Level 7. The Godfather, Cryfamiljari. You are 48. You have reached the absolute summit. You are the Cryfamiljari, the head of the family. You live in a sprawling, heavily fortified compound outside of Tirana. The walls are 15 feet high, topped with razor wire, and guarded 24/7 by former military men carrying automatic weapons. You don't use cell phones or the internet. You communicate entirely through face-to-face meetings with trusted blood relatives. You control an empire that stretches from the coca fields of South America to the ports of Belgium and the streets of London. You generate hundreds of millions of euros a year. You are a king. When you drive through your hometown, people wave at you. You build local schools, you pave the roads, and you pay for hospital wings. The locals call you a hero, a modern-day Robin Hood. They don't care where the money comes from as long as it helps them. You sit at the head of a long wooden table, drinking strong coffee and reiki, making decisions that alter the course of entire countries. A rival clan tries to disrupt your shipping routes in the Netherlands. You don't raise your voice. You simply give a nod to your top lieutenant. 3 days later, the rival boss is shot dead outside a restaurant in Amsterdam. You are entirely insulated from the violence. You are a ghost, a myth, a man who technically owns nothing but controls everything. But true power comes with a terrifying, crushing isolation. You know that the ambitious men sitting at your table are smiling at you while actively calculating how to take your throne. You trust absolutely no one. Level 8. The Blood Feud, Jakmarrja. You are 55. You thought you were untouchable. You thought your money and your politicians could protect you from anything. But you forgot the most dangerous force in your world, the past. 15 years ago, during a brutal territorial dispute, you ordered the death of a rival. You didn't think twice about it, but that rival had a family. According to the Kanun, the ancient Albanian code of law, blood must be paid with blood. A Jakmarrja, a blood feud, is formally declared against your family. In the modern world of international finance and global drug trafficking, this ancient law still holds absolute power. According to the code, any adult male in your bloodline is a legitimate target for execution. The only place you are safe is inside your own home. If you step off your property, you are a dead man walking. You are the most powerful mafia boss in the country, worth hundreds of millions of euros, and you cannot leave your own house. You are a prisoner in your own billion-dollar mansion. Your empire begins to violently fracture. Because you cannot travel to meet your contacts, your lieutenants begin to hoard the money. Rivals sense your weakness and attack your supply lines. Your sons cannot go to school or leave the compound. They are trapped with you, suffering for the sins you committed decades ago. You sit by the reinforced glass window of your massive estate, staring out at the mountains, realizing that the walls you built to keep your enemies out have become the walls of your permanent prison. The ancient code you used to demand loyalty has become the exact weapon used to destroy you. Level 9. The cycle. Every empire ends the exact same way. The end doesn't come from a dramatic shootout with a rival cartel. It comes from the sky. Europol and international intelligence agencies have been building a massive, multinational RICO case against you for years. They finally cracked the encrypted communication networks your lieutenants were using. The politicians who used to take your money realize you are now far too toxic to protect. At 4 a.m., heavy military helicopters descend on your compound. Federal tactical teams blow the steel gates off their hinges. Your guards, realizing they are severely outgunned by the state, drop their weapons and put their hands on their heads. They know better than to die for a fallen king. You are dragged out of your mansion in handcuffs, the flashing red and blue lights illuminating your face for the international news cameras. You will spend the rest of your natural life in a maximum security isolation cell, spending 23 hours a day staring at a concrete wall, thinking about every single life you destroyed to build an empire you can no longer touch. But the cartel doesn't die in that cell with you. The machine never, ever stops. The cocaine still crosses the ocean. The money still washes through the banks. A new boss simply steps up to take your place. You were the terrifying king of the mountain, but now you are just a cautionary tale. A ghost story the older men tell to keep the younger guys in line. Meanwhile, right now, in the freezing, pitch-black trailer of a commercial lorry crossing the English Channel, there is a new 16-year-old kid. He is terrified, he is suffocating, and he owes a massive debt. But he is hungry, he wants new shoes, and he is eagerly waiting for his chance to climb. The machine is still running.